I've got another idea, Batman. I can take Aquaman right to the ship in my transparent plane.
5,000 miles an hour, you'll have him there in a few seconds.
Wonder Woman commands the motor to switch on, and the plane begins to taxi toward the hangar door.
I still marvel at your transparent plane, Wonder Woman.
Welcome back to the Tide Hero here. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Superpowers Invisible Jet. This is something that is sort of cool. When I first found out about this, I was like, I had to get my hands on one of these because Kenner never made this back in the day. So I'm going to share all of the information I have with you about this item, and also going to talk about the Wonder Woman. I'm also going to do some size comparisons and let you know about price, availability, and all that good stuff coming up. All right, so here is the box, and it comes in this packaging. This was some sort of a DC Comics Legion of Collectibles exclusive. So now with the McFarlane one coming out, it may not be as clear as this. It may be clear. I don't know everything about that one, but I know with this one, I can show you what's going on with it. Nice picture of the Invisible Jet on the back right there. So that looks kind of cool. Now, of course, the Invisible Jet looks like you could fit multiple people in it for, you know, the cartoon and that and all this. This thing only fits one very, very small figure in it, but it's still kind of cool. So let's take a look at the product. This is a Funko release, by the way. All right, so here is the Jet, and here's about how big it is when you hold it in your hands. And I'm thinking that the figure might be about the size of a mask figure, less articulation too. But here is all transparent, completely clear, looks pretty cool, pretty close to the Jet. Doesn't match the cartoon aesthetic 100%, but gets the job done. And when you have this in your collection, you can actually tell what it is. You know it's an Invisible Jet. And here it is from the bottom. It's clear from the bottom. You see everything that you need to see right there. There's some writing on here too, talking about Funko, and I believe it was 2016 that this came out. So you can still track these down on eBay for like 20 to 30 bucks. So couple of things here. So what does this fit or scale with? Well, it doesn't really fit or scale with a whole lot, but it does fit on my shelf very well, and it does look like it's an Invisible Jet sort of in the background. It does also come with this stand right here, so we're going to have a look at this stand, and it doesn't clip in anywhere, so I don't use the stand because it actually is not necessary for my display, but for display purposes, it gets the job done, and it looks sort of cool. So that's one of the two features. It has two features. It has the stand, and we'll get into the next feature. This does have a removable canopy, which it's a little bit tricky to get it on and off. But looking inside of this cockpit here, you do have clear controllers. So I wouldn't call it a steering wheel, but it's just handles and controllers. You can put the figure's hands sort of on there to look like she's controlling it, and that's kind of okay too. That's pretty cool. And then trying to get this back on, you need to put the front clip inside and then squeeze this as you close it. So I'm just so scared with any transparent plastic that it's going to break, but it does feel really solid. It's a solid built construction, but we're going to take the figure out. We're going to have a look at the figure here in just a second, but there's not much space for anything else in there other than these really, really small figures. So we're going to put her down, put this back on. I think my hand's covering all that. Slide it in. So it's real tricky to get this thing back on. Well, I just feel like we're going to break it, and then put it on the stand. Let's take a look at the figure. Okay, so here is the figure, and it is very tiny. Probably, I don't have measuring or anything, like 2.5 inches. Maybe not. No, it's 2.5 inch tall figure. Very good paint. If I can get zoomed in on that. Let's see. Will it? The face looks pretty good. The paint overall is very well applied for such a small figure. So I'm kind of impressed with that. And with that, all over, the paint all over, every bit of it is painted very well. Here she is from the back. She has 4, I don't think her head sort of moves, but really, okay, 5 points of articulation if you count that head movement as head movement. But She doesn't stand very well. She's not meant to stand. She's meant to sit in her airplane, and that's kind of all she's there for. But let's see what she compares to. All right, so here is her height and size. And so she's about the size of a Mask figure, as I suspected. So we will, of course, try to put Vanessa in the airplane, the invisible jet, here in a little bit. But as you can see, nowhere near the size of, say, a Superpowers figure. So that's my disappointment. I was kind of hoping it would be bigger, closer to Superpowers. Maybe a Superpowers figure could fit. So that was why I really ordered it. So if you expect to fit a Superpowers figure in this, you're not going to. Now, the McFarlane one, you probably will be able to put well, you definitely will be able to put a Superpowers figure in a McFarlane one. But this might actually be kind of small in the McFarlane one. So still kind of cool, kind of interesting. Fun little item if you just want some extra little item in your display. But I'd probably wait for the McFarlane one if you are more of just a Superpowers collector. So does Vanessa, a Mask figure, fit in there? Yes, she does. And so she's a little taller. So with the knee articulation that you get with the Kenner Mask figures, she fits in there. A little sideways. I could probably straighten her out if I really mess with it some more, but I don't want to mess up the Vanessa figure. This is one of my spares that didn't have a helmet, so and with the helmet, I think it would be an even tighter fit, so I just went with a spare one that I had laying around. But yeah, so it's about Mask figure size, slightly undersized for Mask. Okay, so for comparison, I'm really just going to compare it to the Supermobile, because the Supermobile is the smallest of the Superpowers vehicles that this one and then the Lex Jet 7 or whatever that's called, those are about the same size. But this one right here, so you can get an idea of size and scale and comparison, and it's smaller. Maybe it's even, it is much smaller than that, and so with it, you can get an idea of size. But still, it's kind of cool. It's kind of something fun. I'm not getting rid of it or anything. I'm a little disappointed it being so small, but I am going to maintain it in my collection because it fits, and it's a nice little something to have in there for a nice representation, of course, until we get the McFarlane one here in about 4 or 5 months. And then, of course, I'm going to pull this back out when I review the McFarlane one, if I get time for all that. But kind of fun. No power features, action features, like this has. So I guess I'm going to give some final thoughts on this. I think it is an interesting little one-off of a collectible for Superpowers collectors. I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's bad. And I don't really collect Funko Pops. I do kind of remember the 3.75-inch era when Funko and Reaction and Super 7 were all working together on all of that. And so I don't know why that changed, but I was kind of thinking, even though it was made by Funko, it would be a 3.75-inch scale figure, and maybe we could cram a Superpowers figure in the jet, and I didn't realize it was so far off from the 3.75-inch scale, but it sort of scales with Mask. Am I happy that I got it? Yeah. Would I have passed on if I knew it was so small? Probably. So anyway, if you're interested in this, you can probably find them on eBay. It's an old exclusive, but not all exclusives are expensive, so it's still pretty cheap and easy to track down. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Are you going to be getting the Superpowers one coming out from McFarlane? Are you excited for that? Or is that a pass for you? Like and subscribe to Hanger out.
As Wonder Woman, Batman, and Robin dock alongside the space station undetected.
A robot plane that you fly by using brain waves.
The only thing that can surpass super strength is the power of the brain.
I may not be able to see you, Wonder Woman, but with your tiny size, you're helpless to stop me.
Invisible jet.
I may be able to disperse it with a high-speed pass.